Raiders are they're gonna lose this game. I don't even know why I root for them.
Because you're faithful like that, Mr. King.
Dumb like snitch. Always. Hey Vern, what's happening, sir? Did we ever find out why it doesn't show on my regular page?
Well, I put in several work tickets about it. No, the answer is no, not yet. But I tell you what I can start doing. During the time when we go live before you actually start, I can go over there and copy a thing to tell everybody how to find you. You know, to tap in there, so you don't have to keep doing that.
What is the name of the show, Nietzsche?
This is the J King Show.
No, what is the show? What am I talking about?
Oh, your topic for today? Oh, wow, wow. It is a question. Hold on, just a second.
I got that.
No, no, no. I got it. I got it.
Is chaos and the
Yes.
crumbling of America a real possibility?
Yep. Under the Trump administration. Yeah. Yeah. I'll take that on and do that for you, because once you put out the topic, I have everything.
No, I just
You
needed this. Hey, Emac. Today we're doing our show is going to be on the Trump administration. Well, not really. It's really on where we are as a country and is it a real possibility that that we can go into a chaotic mess under Trump. So you know, and when you start looking at the erosion of our democratic institutions, um, you're gonna get analysts that argue that there's a real risk Democratic backsliding, when you talk about our norms, the normal things that a president does and doesn't do. Is it Donald Trump's fault, really? Is this Donald Trump's fault, or is this our system failing itself? Essence failing us. Hmm?
Okay, I'm back.
So the show starts at 6 o'clock, you guys. And so I don't talk during the show, as you guys know that. So if you guys see people that come in and start saying hi and stuff, let them know. I don't want people to think I'm being rude to them. Let them know that I can't talk because Mike is, taping the show, and I will from time to time, I will say something when we have breaks. There are real risks of political instability, unrest, and even violence under a Trump presidency. But a full-scale collapse in the chaos of widespread uprising is not guaranteed. The likelihood depends on a lot of different factors. And there will be experts that debate this on one side or another, how big or how small the. So some of the things that could cause it are the erosion of the democratic institution. Okay. Hey, Janet Marie. So we start in about 2 minutes. 2 minutes will be started.
Yes.
Yeah, and this is going to air the weekend before Thanksgiving. So it's
Oh,
Thanksgiving week coming up. Family and friends.
1 minute. Hey, Shepard.
So Jay, first segment 12 minutes, second segment 12 if you'd like.
Okay.
Combination of two if you want to go longer on one and shorter on the other.
No, well, I'll try to do 12 on both. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Looks like 6 o'clock. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm by. Here we come. Have a great show.
Mm-hmm. The Take It Show. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is. I hope it's good for you. My name is Jay King. Welcome to the Jay King Show at KBLA Talk 1580. We got a good one for you today. There's so much going on. What are the possibilities of the United States falling into chaos and possibly an uprising happening under the Donald Trump president? It's an important and complicated question. I believe the short answer is yes, because there are real risks of political instability, unrest, and even violence under the Trump presidency. We've seen it before. January 6th, in his first presidency, when he didn't want to leave, he didn't believe he won, or he didn't believe he lost. He believed he won. And people, when they become fanatical about someone, whether it's a candidate or an actor or actress or singer, they will do crazy things. There are some key risks and drivers for instability that exist right now today. Some analysts would argue that there's a real risk of Democratic backsliding, and that's when norms and checks that are in place to keep our democracy in balance start to weaken. There's a report by a former U.S. intelligence officials who have warned of competitive authoritarianism. When you look at the elections and the courts that still exist, but some might say are manipulated to concentrate power into the executive office or the presidency. There's undermining of governance legitimacy, whether it's a repeat attack on institutions, calling one side crazy over the other, and some of the things that are happening right now with tariffs in our economy that could become major economic risks. So these things, the erosion of the democratic institutions and the political violence and polarizations that exist, cause a lot of growing concern about extremist violence that are centered around political charge moments like elections or what we're seeing right now with gerrymandering, whether it's in Texas where the people don't have a voice, or California where the people vote because the people in Texas don't have a vote, and the people in Texas can't stop the gerrymandering, and people in California says we're going to create gerrymandering to make a sense of balance. All this is happening, and the Council on Foreign Relations has warned of possible violence before, during, and after election. My name is Jay King. I'm the president and CEO of the California Black Chamber of Commerce. I am the leader of the group Club Nouveau. I do radio at 97.5 FM KDEE in Sacramento, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. I do Traffic Jam from 3 to 5 p.m. On Mondays, I do a show with Keisha Matthews called Politics from 1 to 3 p.m. And Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, I do a podcast called Kings in the Morning on J King Network on YouTube or Facebook. And today we're going to talk about the possibilities of the United States falling into chaos or possibly uprising starting to take place under the Donald Trump presidency. It takes about 3% of a population, believe it or not, to cause a revolution. So in these United States, around 10 million people uprising could literally start a revolution in the United States of America. A few weeks back, they had the No King movement. Over 7 million people came out around the country. That has to be an alarming uh, an alarming, I'm sorry, Mike, let me start right there. That has to be an alarming thought for a president that over 7 million people would come out against. Today, we are at a moment in American history when our country feels pulled in opposite directions, Republican and Democrat. Now, each side is convinced that they hold the truth. And each side is fearful of what the other side might do. And under a presidency as polarizing as Donald Trump's, the forces that divide us don't simply sit quietly in the background, they grow louder, they grow sharper, and they demand our attention. The democracy, as white folks see it, has always depended on trust. Trust in the institutions, trust in the leadership, and most importantly, trust in one another. They trust that one side or the other are going to play the game the way they have the game set up. But today, that trust is frayed. I mean, you can feel it in conversations with your neighbors, with your friends, with some of your kinfolk. It's in the tone of our political debates, whether you believe or agree with Trump or don't believe in and don't believe in Trump. And when there's no conversation, there's an uneasy silence that follows you, even to the headline. If I'm going to be honest, we are a nation walking on thin ice with cracks that are widening beneath our feet. When the White House, Congress, and the courts operate not as partners in governance, but as opponents in a perpetual struggle for power, the country starts to feel unstable. When executive orders replace collaboration, when investigations turn into political weapons, when our court challenges multiply faster than solutions, the American people are left wondering who is actually sanely steering the ship. And when our states start to resist our federal direction, and when our federal agencies start to feel political pressure, the question becomes even more unsettling. What happens when the institutions that are supposed to keep us safe no longer trust each other? See, that's an uncertainty between what the government says and what the public believes. And that chaos, is what finds its first oxygen. And at the same time, you have social tensions that are building. You have this long-standing division around race that we don't talk about, that we act like doesn't exist. And so we say, it's not about race. Yes, it is. But not just race. It's about race. It's about culture. It's about identity. And opportunities that haven't disappeared when it comes to turning people against each other. They've only intensified. And this is happening in a climate that's charged with fear and frustration. It's scary when even a routine government action can ignite a massive response. Whether it's aggressive immigration policies, shifts in civil rights protections, or federal intervention in local matters that trigger protests. See, those protests spread from city to city and from community to community. But like a wildfire, Donald Trump's presidency could be an igniter to a fire that I don't know if we really want to see. You're tuned into the Jay King Show at KBLA Talk 1580. We're talking about the possibility of the United States falling into chaos and a possible uprising under the Trump presidency. We'll be right back.
Got it, Jay.
Yeah, that's good. You
Yeah,
ready?
got it for sure.
Okay.
Okay, 12 more?
12 minutes? Yep.
Yes, sir.
You're tuned into the Jay King Show at KBLA Talk 1580. My name is Jay King. We're just getting into this. You know, it is a scary time. And history has shown us that when people feel unheard, unseen, or unprotected, they go to the streets. And most times it happens in a very peaceful fashion. But in the shadows of those peaceful crowds are individuals and groups who really thrive on conflict. We call them extremist organizations. And whether they're far right militias, conspiracy networks, or radicalized factions, they are most powerful when they feel like our country is fragile. See, they do all their recruiting when they know that people feel afraid. They start to organize when people feel angry. They become bold when they believe leadership will look the other way. And we're seeing it in our own communities. And we're feeling it if you're in a community of color, and especially if you're brown. Because we've watched people who were actual Americans, but were detained or arrested because they were thought to be illegal aliens based on how they look. And we've watched our leadership look the other way. And that's when these networks, these radicalized factions, these far right militias, these people that believe in those ideas, when they become bold because leadership looks the other way. And that kind of rising extremism is not just a political challenge, it's a security challenge, it's a moral challenge, and it's a direct threat to public safety. See, I'm a black man, but just imagine when they start going after immigrants from African countries, countries of a darker complexion. Now you're fighting a whole nother battle, and you put that on top of the reality of the economic pressure that we're under right now. It's one thing to tolerate a political disagreement, but it's a whole nother thing to tolerate losing your livelihood. You see, a country won't tolerate watching the cost of living rise while wages stagnate. It won't tolerate uncertainty about the next paycheck or the next meal. If economic instability emerges under a highly contentious administration like Trump's, whether it's through market swings, trade wars, inflation, tariffs, or cuts to critical programs, the public frustration that follows can and will become a powerful accelerant. Economic stress has always been the match that lights social unrest, especially when it's white folk. You see, they are the most unhappy of the Trump followers because now their livelihood, now their foundation are being shaken. It's not about what color you are. It's about your financial lot. And then there's the question of national security. You see, America depends on strong relationships between the White House, the military, and the intelligence community. But if those relationships become strained, if our leaders start to clash over strategy, if intelligence warnings are dismissed, if cybersecurity threats go unanswered, that's when our country becomes vulnerable at a moment. And this is when clarity and stability are essential. The American people, in their own minds, for their own psyche, must trust these institutions to protect us from foreign actors, from domestic threats. When that trust is shaken, fear begins to fill the void. And that's the fear that we're starting to feel right now. And even with all that, probably the most dangerous force of all, the most dangerous force that we feel is something that's less tangible, but it's a lot more powerful. And that's the perception that democracy itself is weakening. When millions of Americans believe that the system is rigged, and we've heard Donald Trump say that every time he loses, but it's okay every time he wins. When they feel that the justice system is being weaponized, and we're watching it right now when the president of the United States is going after his political enemies, even when there's not a real cause to, so much so that the experts that are part of his administration have resigned or quit, and somebody that is less skilled is in that post now with that weapon, doing what he would like them to do versus what they're supposed to do. Or when we believe that elections are not fair. And I've seen people on the right and the left. I was talking to a friend of mine who's a Democrat who said that Donald Trump didn't win this election, that Kamala Harris really beat him. And I tell him the same thing I tell Donald Trump supporters who felt he beat Joe Biden. That's not what the election said. The election said Donald Trump won. There's nothing else to say about it. But when people start to believe that elections are not fair, that's when the emotional foundation of our nation starts to crumble. And once people lose faith in democracy, they start looking outside of it. And that's when they look to protest. That's when they look to have resistance movements. That's when they look to militias or to conspiracy theories. Anywhere that offers a sense of power, anywhere that offers a sense of belonging, anywhere that offers a sense of control, that is the moment when unrest turns to uprising. Not because people want chaos, but because they no longer believe the system will hear them without it. And you have to ask yourself, where am I in the process? This is when you have to ask yourself, have I engaged in our system and held my end of the bargain? Political violence and polarization are happening right here in real time. And there's a growing concern about extremist violence around politically charged moments like elections. There are social and identity fractures. There are erosions of the democratic institution. We're watching them in real time, right now, right before our very eyes. Are your eyes open? Are you awake? Do you see what I see? It's the J. King Show at KBLA Talk 1580. We'll be right back.
Good stuff, Jay. Got it.
So you guys, if you guys want to talk about this, I don't respond to what you guys are saying because I can't, because Mike is recording me. And then so when I take a break, and then I'll come back and we can talk about it afterwards. Mike, do you have a do you have a how many minutes out here?
The segment will be 9.
9 minutes.
Yep. Ready when you are.
It's the J. King Show at KBLA Talk 1580. We're talking about chaos and possible uprising that could take place while Donald Trump sits in office. A lot of people would say that Donald Trump is trying to be president for a third term in 2028, that he's not going to advocate the throne. He thinks he's a king and he's not going to leave. So when we talk about the potential for chaos under a Trump presidency, we're not talking about a single decision or one dramatic moment. What we're talking about is the collision of a lot of different forces. You know, we're talking about the political polarization that's taking place. We're watching it in real time. And you're even seeing, even within the polarization of politics, now you're starting to see the fractioning of the MAGA people that were with Trump. And you're starting to see Marjorie Taylor Greene and Carlson Tucker and you know, the black girl. What's her name? What's the black girl's name?
Candace Owens?
Candace Owens. Okay, I'm gonna start right here. You're starting to see. Is it Carlton Tucker?
Carlson.
Tucker Carlson.
And don't forget Megyn Kelly.
Okay. Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly and Candace Owens. These are folks that are breaking away from him. These are people that were hardcore MAGA that now he's saying are crazy. So when we talk about the potential for chaos, that's not just one dramatic moment. We're talking about institutional conflict. We're talking about the social tension that's taking place even in our communities, the economic instability. People who have lived a good life for a long time are now on shaky ground. We're talking about extremism and the rising of it. And we're also talking about the profound mistrust in democracy itself. You see, you can't talk about Donald Trump without talking about the democracy that produced him and how someone like Donald Trump will come from the ashes of that. We don't trust the democracy. The people stopped trusting the democracy. Donald Trump didn't come from the democracy. Donald Trump was an outsider who came in. And that's what people jumped on. All the forces that I'm talking about are not hypothetical. Whether it's political polarization, institutional conflict, social tension, economic instability, rising extremism, or the mistrust of democracy. All of this is real. And none of it is going to disappear on its own. And let me be clear to you. This isn't a prediction of doom. I don't want you to feel like we are doomed. This is a reminder This is a reminder that nations don't fall into chaos overnight. Rome didn't fall overnight. It didn't go into chaos overnight. Rome fell because there were warning signs, and those warning signs were ignored. And you bet not ignore the warning sign. Rome fell when their leaders exploited the division inside of Rome instead of bridging it. Rome fell because the public stopped believing that its government belonged to them. And America will fall when the public stops believing democracy belongs to us. And countries rise when people decide that unity is stronger than fear, that justice demands participation, that wrongs deserve to be righted, and honesty has to be somewhere in the mix. America has to say the truth that was built on racism, bigotry, prejudice, and bias. That is a truth. And if we're going to live by the creed of democracy that all men are created equal, then that democracy requires a constant and an active protection. You see, America is at a crossroad. And to be honest with you, the path forward is uncertain. And you all have to know that it's not presidents and politicians that will shape the future. It will be me and you. It will be our children. It will be our children's children. It will be our grandparents. It will be all of us. It will be shaped based on our willingness to defend the truth, to stand up for it, to call out a lie, to protect our institutions, and to refuse to let our nation be fractured beyond repair. And if we don't do that now, I mean, right now, if we don't start making this a conversation, then we are killing ourselves. We will be the death of us because we didn't listen, because we didn't follow or read about the history before us. You see, we're living in one of the most divided moments in American history. And under a presidency as polarizing as Donald Trump's, the forces that have already began to pull us apart will only intensify with speed and force. So, to understand the moment that we're in, the pressures that we face, we must share in a responsibility together. I'm Jay King. You're tuned into the Jay King Show at KBLA Talk 50. We'll be right back.
Good. Right. Yep. Two more segments, 4 minutes, 4.5 each.
Okay.
You can go 4.5.
4.5 each or 4?
4.5.
It's the Jay King Show at KBLA Talk 1580. And I hope this show has made you think. The potential for chaos doesn't come from just one decision or one leader or one election. It comes from the collusion of political division. It comes from the institutional conflict. And it comes from oftentimes someone who plays outside the rules of the game because they are different than the game and the rules that were set. But here's the truth. Chaos is not inevitable. Division is not destiny. Democracy is not fragile unless we make it fragile. So, if we want stability, we have to demand truth. If we want peace, we have to reject extremism in all of its forms, whether it's an extremism you believe in or not. Extremism, you have to reject it. If we want strong institutions, we have to participate in them. You can't abandon them just because they don't do what you want them to do. And if you want a healthy democracy, you have to show up, and you have to show up for it every single day. So I'm calling on every person who's listening to pay attention, stay informed, to vote, to volunteer in elections, to speak up, to stand against hate, support responsible leadership, protect vulnerable communities, and refuse to let fear drive you into silence. Don't let bullies frighten you to death. That's what our president is trying to do at times, bully you. Democracy is not preserved by presidents. Democracy is not protected by presidents. Democracy is preserved, protected, and prepared to serve a nation and preserved by the people, by us. We can't choose the time we live in, but we can choose how we respond to them. And the one thing history has always done is rewarded the nations and the people, the communities who rose above fear, who have rose above conflict, and who has rose above division to defend the values that matter most. And that is human beings must become better when it comes to being you to other human beings, especially those that don't look, sound, act like you. It's the Jay King Show at KBLA Talk 1580. We'll be right back. Close this thing out.
Good. Very good.
Okay.
Last segment.
All right. 4 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Um, Our democracy runs on trust. Oh, I need to come back, right? It's the Jay King Show at KBLA Talk 1580. I want to close this show out with this. Our democracy runs on trust. Our trust in institutions and leadership. But more importantly, our trust in one another. And today that trust is thin. So I challenge you to make new conversation with people who may not believe what you believe, who may not agree with what you see, people who don't look like you, and have a conversation and listen, not to rebut or to agree or disagree, but just to hear. Listen to hear. And just take it all in. And if they invite you to speak, do so. But if they are speaking, say absolutely nothing, but take it all in. And then when you speak how you would want someone to speak to you. Not at you, not around you, not through you, but to you. Disagreements are going to exist because we're not a monolith, none of us. None of us come from monolithic thoughts. Not all Black people think alike, talk alike, walk alike, vote alike, but that's the same for white, Asian, Hispanic, Native, red, brown, beige, white, black. It doesn't matter. Today we have to build a public resistance to what's being presented to us. Today we have to speak on behalf of each other and call out when we see something wrong. The risk of open civil unrest over the next year is a low 2.9%. But that's not zero. And believe it or not, it's higher than some major democracies. The U.S. still has a relatively strong institutions in the courts, bureaucracy, the free press, civil society. And these things can act as checks. Not everybody would side with authoritarianism, even a Trump supporter. And we should know that. So it's up to us as the people to stand in our power and know that we are stronger than the government and anyone who sits in a government seat. My name is Jay King, and you've been tuned into the Jay King Show at KBLA Talk 1580. We'll see you next time. How was that?
All right, got it.
Let me tell you something, Mike. When we started this,
Yes, sir.
the score was 6-6.
Uh-oh.
It's the second. It ain't even the second quarter ain't even over yet, and it's 24-6. Raiders getting their ass whooped.
Yep. Go CD Lamb. I need 12 fantasy football points to sweep this weekend. I'm projected 3 under.
So what place are you in right now?
I got a team called the Footballers, or not the football, but Footballers,
Mm-hmm.
and they are in second place.
Okay.
And then I have a team called Green Machine.
Mm-hmm.
They are in first place.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, they're in first place in their league. I have a team called the Broken Tees.
Mm-hmm.
Broken Tees, like golf.
Mm-hmm.
They are in like third or fourth. And then in fantasy football on Yahoo,
Mm-hmm.
there's a prestigious league where I
Mm-hmm.
think they pick the best managers, and they
Mm-hmm.
put them in a prestigious league. So somehow I got in that, and that team's called Prestigious B.
Okay. And what place they in?
They're in like fifth. Or they're 5-5. That's a tough one. But all those teams, there's like 2-game loss between, well, maybe 3-game loss between the first place team and like the 8th place team. They're all 6-3, or now we're in the 11th week,
Oh,
right?
okay. So you're not that far. Well, you're 2 games
Yeah,
out.
it's 5-5, and I think I won that game. Well, yeah. I'm not sure which one I'm rooting and tooting for today. I guess so many teams. I'm not sure like who's who, but yeah. No,
And the Raiders
prestigious.
are
I
good.
think they're gonna
The Raiders
lose.
are good.
So all that good stuff. But yeah. No, good show. Do you really think that Trump's gonna try and do a third term?
I got to be honest with you. In the beginning, I did. I don't think he can. I don't think he has the power to now. I
No.
believe. I believe. Trump is losing a lot of his luster.
Well,
I think
he's really good at trolling people.
Yeah, but
So he's just trolling. He's trolling the
yeah,
Democrats and doing a
yeah,
good job at it.
yeah. But I think another thing he did, like it or not, is I didn't believe that Gavin Newsom had a real chance at being president. But Donald Trump has made Gavin Newsom um, a real contender because Gavin stood up to him, and Donald Trump avoids Gavin Newsom because bullies don't necessarily want anybody fighting them back. They just want to fight, but they fight people that don't fight back. They won't fight anybody that's going to fight them back. And I believe that Donald Trump runs from Gavin Newsom. But
Gavin's gonna have to run on his record nationwide.
Yeah. Well, listen, if it's up against Trump's, he'll win. If it's, he'll beat JD Vance. Yeah.
Yeah, he wouldn't be against Trump because he's just
Yeah,
trolling.
he'd beat Trump. If Trump ran, he'd beat Trump.
He won't. He won't.
Yeah. Trump came. Yeah, he would. But and so let's if Trump ran a third term, and you got $1, I'll bet you $1.
I do have $1.
Okay, then we can bet $1.
I worry. You know what I worry about is Trump fights back. He'll fight back. I worry about other Republicans not fighting back.
Trump fights. He fights girls. He don't fight guys. He couldn't.
No,
he couldn't fight Joe. Joe was on one leg and an eye missing, and he beat Trump.
Are you talking about 2020?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'd have to talk about voter integrity then, because the California voting by mail is.
Nah, you didn't know. You guys can't say that. It was the same voting. It was the same voting that existed when Donald Trump won, when he beat Kamala. The same voting. See, you guys, you
Well,
and the
I mean,
Democrats,
he swept
you,
all. I mean,
and the Democrats,
Democrats were just so
you
bad
guys
back.
always talk about who won and who lost. So
The
Democrats say
she was poor. She was
y'all
bad.
cheated when he
I
won.
would say like
He said,
Shapiro. Okay, how about Shapiro? But he doesn't have it. Whitmer doesn't have it. Nobody has it.
"Hey, I'm gonna tell you this:
Michelle, put her up there.
Michelle can't beat him. Michelle can't win.
I think she could.
A woman, America ain't ready for a woman, especially not a black woman.
I think I know there are no strong women in politics at all right now.
Oh no, that's not true.
Agreed.
There's a lot of strong women in politics.
politics.
It's just,
Who?
white males won't allow such a thing,
Who?
especially not a woman of color.
Hillary?
Do you know what? Have you read about 1898 in Wilmington, North Carolina?
Mm,
Do you know what
I saw,
happened?
I saw the movie on Paramount or the series. That was pretty good. 1883.
No, 1898. Did you hear? Do you know? Let me tell you what happened in Wilmington, North Carolina.
I think I heard the story.
What was it?
I can't remember. I think I did.
Well, I'm gonna tell you again.
Was it a female running for governor or president?
No. There were white men and black men came together in 1898 and created the Fusionist Party, and they won. They won in all the elections, and the white men in the town, the Democrats, they overthrew the elections. They didn't count them, and they either ran the men out of town or killed them, white and black, and took over the government. It's the only time in American history that there was an overthrowing of an American government. So
White supremacist Democrats in what had been called Wilmington insurrection, a coup d'etat that eliminated the black vote and reestablished Democrat control.
so that's America.
In 1898.
Yep.
Yeah.
In 1941 or 42, in the United States of America, the only time a child was executed was a 14-year-old boy by the name of George Stinney. He was accused of killing 2 white girls. Because he and his sister were playing with him earlier in the day. Next day, when people they were found in a ravine in the black part of town, and they said George Stinney did it. George Stinney was so small that they had to sit him on 2 gigantic phone books for him to be executed.
Yeah. That's some bullshit.
Yeah. Well, you know who did it? It was a white kid that was next door neighbors or close to them from a prominent family. They knew that the white kid did it, but rather than say he did it, they would rather blame it on a black kid that had nothing to do with it, ran his family out of town and everything. His mom and dad never got to see him.
Yeah.
That's America. That's the American justice. I know.
It's some fucking bullshit. I don't agree.
But that's
And we did talk. There's an earlier podcast on the J. King Network about that. Akola, South Carolina. Yeah. But back to the Fusionist Party, a political alliance of Republicans and populists that controlled state government, and then the coalition violently overthrown by Democrats. So, I mean, Democrats are power hungry.
well, the Democrat of that day A lot of people
We're
say
not
it's the Republicans of
Republicans.
this day.
No, no,
No,
they
they're the
weren't.
Republicans of this day. That's what people say. That's what they say, Mike.
Like the bell rang and they all switched parties. Like, no, they
No,
weren't.
it's just, it's like I believe with Franklin D. Roosevelt, that's when you start to see a switching of because
Right.
Franklin Roosevelt, whether people know it or not, hated black people. It wasn't Franklin that had an affinity for black folk. It was Eleanor. Eleanor had a
Yeah.
true appreciation and respect for black folk. That and a lot of people don't know that the Kennedys didn't love black folk. That they did what they did because for political reasons. But Nixon had a great respect for Martin Luther King and Martin Luther King for Nixon. As a matter of fact, um, Nixon was helping Martin get out of jail, but he didn't seek the light like the Kennedys did. But people need to go read that kind of stuff because we a lot of things that we believe aren't true. But what we do know is this. What I do know is this. When the government is criminal against you, it's difficult for you to be anything. And the government was criminal against us.
Yeah. That's why we have to get small government, less regulations.
No, the government got to pay us. The government got to pay us debt.
Help me
to
get
do-
out, not help
yeah.
me, pay my
The
bills, not
government
help
gotta
me.
pay. No, the government got to pay its debt to
Universal
us
income, none of that.
in order for something great to happen for us. We got to pay the debt for the crimes we
And-
committed against
Yep.
black folk.
Yep.
that
Are
produced-
you watching the American Revolution on PBS?
No, I
The
haven't.
documentary that started yesterday? It's
No.
really good.
On PBS.
Everybody should watch that. Yeah, the start of the American Revolution where F you Britain, you're trying to, take control of us, you're trying to keep us down, you're trying to restrict us and blah blah blah. That's my simplification of it.
Have you heard about this? Weeks after a Halloween party, a Sacramento resident remains hospitalized after an attack that the Sacramento Police Department is investigating as a hate crime. The attack happened after 1:30 a.m. on November 1st at Badlands, Sacramento, one of the city's most prominent LGBTQ-friendly nightclubs. Officers went to the Lavender Heights district, found a man with serious injuries. Andrea Prasad told KCRA that she went to Badlands with her father, Alvin Prasad, whom she described as being very close to. They were celebrating Halloween with their friend, Jonathan Wisniewski, and left the club around 2 a.m. when they were approached by a man as they were heading back to their car. A guy walked past me and my dad and just called him weird, insulted him for the way he was dressed. My dad is gay, and he likes to dress up a lot when going out dancing. So he was dressed more flamboyantly, Andrea Prasad recalled. Andrea Prasad said her father turned to confront the man and asked Jonathan to check on him. Wasinski said Andrea had not even finished her sentence when she saw the man cock back and punch Alvin Prasad right in the forehead. My dad hit the ground pretty quick. The back of his head hit the concrete.
Yeah.
After the initial punch, Wisniewski said he threw himself in the middle of them and confronted the man. He cocks back again to punch me, Wasinski recalled, explaining that he punched back in self-defense. I wasn't going to let him hit me. The first thing I said was, "Why are you running?" That's when he went into the street. After the confrontation ended, Wisniewski said he rushed back to help Alvin Prasad, noting that he saw blood underneath his head. Alvin Prasad has been in the hospital ever since. That night, Andrea Prasad says he's in a coma. That's permanent brain damage. He's never going to be who he was, Andrea Prasad said. He can't express himself, can't go out dancing. That night has also been traumatic for Wasinski, who said he can't even look at his hands right now without seeing Alvin Prasad's blood on him. Police said they arrested 24-year-old Sean Payton in connection with the attack. He faces a felony charge of assault and great bodily injury with a hate crime enhancement.
Good.
Wonderful.
I hope he goes to jail forever with bail, with no bail. Yeah, I only saw the headline. I wasn't aware of that detail, but I mean, there's too much hate going on.
Look at the world, all this hating, all this fighting. Yeah. Man remains hostile. Wow. What a world.
Yep.
What a world. Why are you bothering somebody just because of the way they look?
They have tiny hands. Little tiny hand Trump. Wouldn't get on the massage table.
Tiny hand, tiny hand.
He
Well, that's
also is
why.
he's the one that hasn't crowed, right? Is that what that means?
Well, that's why Donald Trump liked to be with
Yes,
some young girls. He got them little baby hands.
your little baby hands.
LBA. LBA. Little baby hands. All right. All right,
All
Mike,
right.
we good? We got everything we need?
Yeah. Thank you.
All right,
Appreciate it, everybody.
Yeah.
All right. Have a great night.
All right, buddy.